Welcome to Le Weekend, your essential roundup of French news on culture, business, the economy, and current affairs. We bring you a convenient way to catch up on the stories from the past week in France, plus an additional focus feature blending reportage and cultural context. You'll find a seamless recap of the week's most important headlines without losing any content from our previous daily format, perfect for those who want to catch up in just one episode. Le Weekend is designed to keep you informed and engaged with a lighter touch at the end. Let's dive in. These are the headlines on Monday, April 27th. Paris is targeting property owners' wallets following Brussels and New York's lead. The 2026 budget allows cities in high-demand areas to nearly double the tax on vacant homes starting in 2027. Paris has announced it will use this fiscal tool, aiming to bring 20,000 apartments back into the market, as reported by Le Monde. A French high-tech mission revealed secrets of a 16th century shipwreck. A remotely operated submarine has begun uncovering the secrets of a 16th century shipwreck lying 2.5 kilometers beneath the Mediterranean off southern France, where researchers are delicately recovering brightly colored ceramic treasures from the deepest wreck ever found in French territorial waters, as reported by RFI. French prison guards are calling for a strike action as overcrowding crisis deepens. France's prisons are edging closer to a breaking point, with one of the country's main prison guard unions calling for a strike to force what it says are long overdue reforms, as reported by RFI. The headlines on Tuesday, April 28th. The cadmium crisis is pushing France towards long-delayed political tests. France is facing mounting pressure over cadmium, a toxic heavy metal linked to cancer and found in everyday foods, as fresh health warnings, public anger and political action intensify around a long-running contamination crisis, now heading for a parliamentary battle, as reported by RFI. Bookseller Gibert Group was placed under receivership. This procedure comes amid persistent financial difficulties as the historic Latin Quarter retailer seeks to adapt its business model, as reported by Le Figaro. The Telegram messaging application comes under scrutiny from French authorities for its slow response in removing pirated sports content, particularly streaming of football matches. For the first time, telecom regulator Arcom has filed a complaint accompanied with an opinion with a European regulator, which will investigate the case, as reported by Les Echos. The headlines on Wednesday, April 29th. France unveiled plans to ditch all fossil fuels by 2050 as dozens of nations gathered in Colombia to hold the first ever talks on how to transition away from fossil fuels. France published a roadmap that explicitly aims to phase out coal by 2030, oil by 2045, and gas for energy purposes by 2050, as reported by Le Monde. France is investigating the return of the banned website Coco linked to rape and sexual abuse. France has launched an investigation into the reappearance of the website, now renamed Cocoland, that enabled Dominique Pellicot to recruit dozens of strangers to rape his heavily sedated wife Giselle after it was banned 2 years ago, as reported by RFI. The Orient Express brand christened the Orient Express Corinthian on Wednesday. Presented as the largest sailing ship in the world, the 220-meter yacht built at the Chantiers Atlantiques shipyard is the first vessel of Orient Express Sailing Yachts, a subsidiary of the Accor Hotel Group and LVMH, as reported by Les Echos. The headlines on Thursday, April 30th. The French economy chilled as growth stalls and inflation rises. Gross domestic product stagnated in the first quarter due to a decline in household consumption, while inflation rose by more than 2% year-on-year, as reported by Le Monde. Two Frenchmen broke the world record for the Chamonix-Mont Blanc round trip. French guides Matteo Jacquemoud and Samuel Equi broke the record for the round trip between Chamonix and the summit of Mont Blanc at 4,806 meters on skis, completing the journey in 4 hours, 41 minutes and 24 seconds, as reported by France 24. Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu defended energy giant TotalEnergies against the left's call to tax windfall profits. With TotalEnergies posting record profits, calls are growing for a fairer distribution of oil revenues through processes such as taxation and nationalization. The Prime Minister is defending the company while urging it to redistribute a portion of its profit to its customers, as reported by Le Monde. President Macron welcomed the show of force by Europeans following the Orion military exercise. Emmanuel Macron on Thursday hailed the success of the vast military exercise which he attended in eastern France for its conclusion, and which, according to him, constitutes a clear signal sent to both our allies and our adversaries, as reported by France 24. The headlines on Friday, May 1st. French unions rallied on Labor Day to defend paid holiday rights. The leaders of the CFDT and CGT unions are demanding wage increases in response to the return of inflation, while also defending the fact that May 1st is a public holiday, as reported by RFI. PFAS, also called very persistent chemicals, have been detected in the air around the Tefal stove manufacturing plant in Romilly, according to the Haute-Savoie Prefecture, which is asking the company to take measures to better understand and address this pollution. An initial measurement campaign of the so-called perennial pollutants was conducted in November 2025 and February 2026. The prefecture explains that the results should be interpreted with caution and notes that they are partial and highly variable, as reported by Le Figaro. The head of Ryanair asked France to pause biometric checks this summer. The airline is warning of already long queues at several French airports and is calling for a summer suspension of new biometric checks, warning of operational problems and staff shortages that could disrupt holiday travel, as reported by Capital. A giant free party continues on a military base in central France. The prefecture of the Cher department said the massive free party that began Friday on a military site near Bourges is continuing into Saturday. The prefecture had warned of a significant risk due to the presence of old unexploded ordnance. Authorities estimated 20,000 participants at the event early Saturday morning, as reported by France 24. You are listening to Le Weekend. And now that you're all caught up with the news from the past week, it's time for our focus story. Today we look at why the return of an infamous website made the news in France. Please keep in mind this segment includes sensitive content that is not suitable for younger audiences. The name sounded almost innocent, Coco, like a nickname. But for more than a decade, the platform known as Coco.fr and later Coco roundup.gg operated as one of the most dangerous corners of the French-speaking internet, a chat room where anonymity was total, moderation was non-existent, and some of the most serious crimes imaginable were organized every day. French authorities shut it down in June 2024. Its founder was arrested and charged. And then, just like that, this month, it came back. The same logo, a new URL, and a new name, Coco Land. To understand why the return of this platform sent shockwaves through France's legal establishment, child protection advocates, and feminist organizations, we need to go back to what Coco actually was and what it enabled. Coco presented itself as a chat site without registration. To enter, you simply typed in your gender, age, postcode, and a made-up username. No email address required, no phone number, no identity check of any kind. The system assumed you were whoever you said you were. Coco was not a throwback to the initial days of the internet in the 90s. It was predatory by design, and the numbers that emerged from the investigation that eventually brought it down are staggering. Between January 2021 and May 2024, French prosecutors counted no fewer than 23,000 judicial proceedings linked to the platform across 70 different prosecutors' offices, affecting 480 identified victims of all crimes connected with the site. Those numbers include rape, child sexual exploitation, drug trafficking, homophobic hate crimes, and at least one murder. The case that brought Coco to international attention was the trial known as the Mazan rapes, what the French press calls l'affaire Pellicot. For 10 years, Dominique Pellicot had been secretly drugging his wife Gisèle with powerful anxiolytics, rendering her unconscious, and then inviting strangers to come to their home in the village of Massin to rape her. He filmed everything. He kept a folder on his computer simply labeled abuse, containing more than 20,000 photographs and videos. The tool Pellicot used to recruit the men who came to rape his wife was Coco. He operated in a chat room called chillingly à son insu, without her knowledge. There he offered strangers access to his unconscious wife, posting videos of previous assaults as proof. When investigators examined Pellicot's computer after his arrest in 2020, initially after being caught filming up women's skirts at a supermarket, the full horror began to emerge. The trial that followed became one of the most significant criminal proceedings in French legal history. In December 2024, all 51 men brought to court were found guilty. Dominique Pellicot received the maximum sentence, 20 years imprisonment, which he did not appeal. But the Pellicot case was not Coco's only crime. In April 2024, a 22-year-old man named Philippe Koopman was lured into a deadly ambush via the platform in the northern French town of Grand-Sainte. 3 teenagers had contacted him through Coco, and when he arrived at the arranged meeting point, he was beaten with extreme violence. He died of his injuries. In September 2025, the 3 minors were convicted and sentenced to between 18 and 20 years in prison. And then there were what French investigators called guet-apens homophobes, organized ambushes targeting LGBTQ+ individuals. Men would use Coco to pose as potential romantic or sexual partners, lure gay men to a meeting point, and then assault them. These homophobic trap attacks became one of the platform's most documented criminal uses. The name behind all of this, the man who built the platform, ran it, and profited from it, is an Italian national named Isaac Steidl. Steidl had structured the operation carefully to evade legal accountability. Coco was registered abroad. Over the years, it migrated from coco.fr to coco.gg, a domain registered abroad, although its servers were hosted in several EU countries, including in Belgium. When France's specialized unit for fighting organized crime online finally shut the platform down in 2024, a judicial investigation had already been running for 6 months. Steidl was formally charged in Paris in January 2025 with an extraordinary list of offenses: complicity in drug trafficking, possession and distribution of child sexual abuse material, corrupting a minor via electronic communications, aggravated pimping, participation in a criminal organization, and aggravated money laundering. He could face combined penalties of up to several years in prison and fines of up to 1.5 million euros. He was placed under judicial supervision, ordered to pay a bail of 100,000 euros, and forbidden from leaving France. His lawyer denied the charges, calling the prosecution as unjust as it is legally unfounded. The case is ongoing. The shutdown, however, was not permanent. It was a pause. In mid-April this month, the outlet West France first reported the emergence of a new platform operating under the name Cocoland with a new URL, the same general interface, and the same total absence of moderation or age verification. France's High Commissioner for Childhood immediately sounded the alarm, calling it a collective failure in the face of one of the most serious crimes against children. To demonstrate just how dangerous the new site was, the Child Protection Association Face à l'Inceste conducted an undercover test in April. They created a fake profile presenting as Lou, a 13-year-old girl. Within less than 1 minute, the profile was approached by 3 adult men seeking to initiate sexual contact. Within 10 minutes, 15 men, all adults, all aware they were speaking to a 13-year-old, had made contact. The Paris prosecutor's office announced it had opened a formal investigation into the relaunch of the site, entrusted to the Unité Nationale Cyber of the Gendarmerie Nationale. The Fondation des Femmes and Main d'Or Pas, a group co-founded by Caroline Darian, Gisèle Pellicot's own daughter, issued a joint statement warning that similar platforms are accessible from France, and it is highly probable that French users are participating and that victims in France are affected. This story, however, does not exist in isolation. It is part of something larger and more disturbing that investigators and journalists have been tracking for years. In March 2026, CNN published the results of a months-long investigation titled Exposing a Global Online Rape Academy. Its reporters, building on earlier work by German investigative journalists, documented a hidden online ecosystem in which men share techniques for drugging and raping their partners, film the assaults, and trade or sell the footage. At the center of the reporting was a pornographic website called motherless.com, which hosts more than 20,000 videos categorized under the tag quote-unquote sleep, with footage of women filmed while unconscious or sedated, often without their knowledge. Some videos carried tags like quote-unquote eye check, referring to the practice of lifting a sedated woman's eyelids on camera to document that she is fully unconscious before the assault. CNN also documented Telegram groups where users discussed which drugs to use to avoid detection, with particular interest in fast metabolizing substances that leave the body within 7 to 8 hours, frequently before standard toxicological tests can confirm its presence. The highly publicized Pellicot case was supposed to be a turning point. Gisèle Pellicot's extraordinary decision to waive her anonymity and demand a public trial was, in the words of her legal representative, an act of courage that forced French society to confront the reality of drug-facilitated sexual violence. The platform that had made it possible was shut down and its founder had been charged. It seemed that justice was moving. But Coqueland is back. The site is still running. Predators are using it and victims are at risk. And the investigation is still open. Thank you for listening to Le Weekend, your one-stop destination for the main headlines in France. Catch our weekly roundup every weekend wherever you get your podcasts. Stay informed.